How's it going, everyone? Welcome back into the channel. The Green Bay Packers just released their final injury report of Week 4 ahead of their Thursday Night Football huge matchup versus the Detroit Lions tomorrow. There are 4 players on this super long injury report that are out of this game and 5 total questionable players, so a lot to go over on the Packers side as well as the Detroit Lions injury side, so let's get into it. This Green Bay Packers football team has been really banged up even since Week 1, just a super long list of injuries, and that's the same today for this Week 4 injury report. Hopefully after this game, the mini bye of the 10-day stretch until the Raiders game, and then of course the bye after that, which will be a 12-day stretch, will finally help this Packers team get healthy. But before we get into the video, I want to give a big thank you to today's sponsor, Factor. This busy fall season, you can count on Factor for fast, tasty meals that fit your lifestyle. Factor supports wholesome eating made simple. Their menus are updated weekly and include 27 plus and 33 plus add-on options. Choose your favorite meals or let Factor craft your order based on your taste preferences and meal history. Factor offers keto, calorie smart, chef's choice, and vegan plus veggie options, which include seafood, meat, and plant-based meals. Factor really helps you avoid takeout and ordering in with delicious and nutritious, no-nonsense food that's ready quickly. Factor's chef-prepared meals makes it easy to eat well, so you never have to opt in for something that's not good for you. For me personally, Factor is awesome because I'm really into the whole calorie counting and having good meals before I head to the gym. And these meals really take out the guesswork of what you're adding into each meal, and also saves me a bunch of time, and we all know how tedious meal prep can be. So head to factor75.com or click the link down in the description below and use my code BASS50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. That's 50% off your first Factor box with code BASS50 at factor75.com. All right, so bringing up the injury report at the top, we see Jaire Alexander, who was limited yesterday and limited today. Monday, they didn't practice. It was just an estimation, so I don't take too much weight into that. Tuesday was a walkthrough, and today was a full practice. So limited and questionable for this game. We saw him questionable last week against the Saints after picking up that back injury on Friday and ended up not playing in that game, just like many of the other questionable players for that game. Now, I think this is different. I think Jaire plays in this game even though he holds the same designation as last week, and I think that's because the Packers were saving all their players to be healthy for this Lions game, which is arguably way more important than the Saints game. Luckily, they still won that in incredible fashion in that fourth quarter, down 17 points, but this is a divisional game coming up. The top 2 teams of the NFC North, so it's very important, and I say Jaire suits up for this game. The next 3 players on this list are all out. Zane Anderson, hamstring injury, didn't practice last week, didn't practice this week, he is out. David Bakhtiari didn't practice, which is no surprise. The only difference is his status is out, whereas the last 2 weeks we saw it as questionable. He is officially just out of this game. So it seems like that knee really has flared up, which is unfortunate. His ACL injury 3 years ago, and it just seems like this knee is going to be why David Bakhtiari ends up retiring from the NFL, or a team simply doesn't sign him. This is likely his last year in Green Bay, in my opinion, because he can't really be counted on week in and week out, and availability is the best ability. And David Bakhtiari hasn't been too available, which is a shame because when he is out on the field, he is one of the best left tackles in the league, but you need to be available. Rasheed Walker will take his place, of course, for his 3rd start in a row, and Rasheed Walker's been very impressive to me, considering the situation and the shoes he's filling of David Bakhtiari, a second-year, 7th-round draft pick. Seems like Brian Gutekunst really hit on another late-round lineman. Then we see Devondre Campbell, who injured his ankle in that Saints game 11 snaps in, didn't return to the game, didn't practice all week, and he is out of this game. We'll see if he practices in any shape next week going into that Monday night game against the Raiders. My best guess is maybe he'll be out until after the bye, considering he didn't practice at all this week and might not next week as well. Rashawn Gary, the next on this list, limited all week, holds no designation. Rashawn Gary been on a pitch count all season, but has seen an increase of snaps week in and week out and has been playing out of his mind. 3 sacks last week with 5 pressures on 24 total snaps. His pressure rate has just been insane, and the Packers are definitely going to need to keep that up. Rashawn Gary's going to need to keep that up and pressure Jared Goff tomorrow. That's going to be super important. Next on the list, we see Elton Jenkins, who didn't didn't practice all week and is out of this game. No surprise here with his injured MCL. I've been saying it pretty much every injury report. Elton Jenkins likely going to be out until after the bye against the Broncos. I don't see the Packers rushing him back. He hasn't been practicing. It was likely a 3 to 4 week injury as it happened, so that kind of falls right around the bye week, so they'd probably hold him out till after that. The next 4 players on this injury report, 3 of which very, very important, all questionable. Aaron Jones at the top here with his hamstring injury, limited all week in practice, is questionable. Now, yesterday, Romeo Doubs said 33 will be out there. Not sure Matt LaFleur really wanted him to say that, because his press conference after that, Matt LaFleur did his typical walk back saying, who knows if these guys will be ready. We're not sure they're fully ready yet. He said that for Jones and Christian Watson. But my best guess is Aaron Jones will be ready to go in this game. I think just like Jair and Watson, they held him out last game to get him ready for this game, and I think he is ready, which will obviously be such a huge boost to this offense. Next on this list is Zach Tom. We saw him suffer a knee injury in that Saints game late in that game. Didn't really hear much about it until this week. We saw did not participate on Monday, which wasn't a good indication because they didn't even practice. A better indication was yesterday and today, both limited practices, and he is also questionable. I see him playing in this game as well. It really depends how and what that knee injury is, but the fact that the 2 days they practice today, he practiced in some capacity, bodes well for him playing in this game, and obviously we want him out there. We're going to be without Elton and Bakhtiari. It would just be another massive blow to not have Zach Tom out there. Josh Nijman could fill in at right tackle, but obviously we know the quality of Zach Tom when it comes to pass blocking, all of that. We need him out there. Carrington Valentine, the next one on this list, limited participation yesterday and today with the biceps injury he suffered in the Saints game, I think after like 32 snaps or so, filling in for Jair Alexander. Then Corey Ballantyne came in and I thought had a pretty good game. He is questionable for this game, so I'm hoping if Jair can't go for some reason, hopefully Carrington Valentine can go. We'll get a better picture of what they think of the statuses of both these players, depending on what players they maybe elevate from the practice squad. I'm sure they'll elevate Corey Ballantyne regardless because both these players are questionable, but maybe they elevate 2 corners or something of that sort. Then last but not least, we see Christian Watson, hamstring injury. He is also questionable, limited yesterday, limited today, and he said in his conference yesterday that it is the plan for him to play in Detroit. Then again, Matt LaFleur said he's not cleared yet and this and that. I think Matt LaFleur is just trying to kind of throw a curveball to Detroit and not really give them a good idea who's playing and who's not, because there's so many important players here that are questionable that the Lions would have to game plan completely differently for, especially Christian Watson in terms of what defenses they're going to run. But I honestly think all these questionable players end up playing tomorrow. It's such an important divisional game. Now, obviously, it depends at a pregame when Watson and Jones go out there and test out their hamstrings. That could definitely change things, but I think the plan right now is Aaron Jones, Christian Watson will be playing tomorrow. And seeing their first game together under Jordan Love, this whole offense could be seeing all their skill players out there for the first time. Yes, they'll be without Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins, but it'll be the first time they could have Watson, Jones, Dobbs, Reed, Musgrave, all those guys, Tay Wicks. So I'm really excited to see what the offense can do, adding someone like Christian Watson, that deep threat, having to take double teams, having to have safeties over the top, that sort of thing to open up the underneath for Dobbs, Musgrave, Reed, and all those type of players. So really hoping that they get back Aaron Jones and Christian Watson tomorrow, and I think that will be the case. Then to wrap things up, let's quickly go over the injury designations for the Lions. Fullback Jason Kabinda is out of this game. They also have a pretty banged up team as well. Tackle Taylor Decker is questionable, but he was limited all week, so probably will play. Guard Jonah Jackson, again, questionable, limited all week, probably will play. Kirby Joseph, who we saw, I think, had 2 interceptions against the Packers in that regular season finale last year, limited all week, questionable. David Montgomery, limited all week, questionable. Emmanuel Mosley, limited all week and questionable. Tackle Matt Nelson is out. Frank Ragnow, no designation, he's good to go. And Big V is out, didn't practice all week. So a lot of linemen on their injury report, just like us. But that does it for the final injury report for the Green Bay Packers. Week 4, super important matchup against the Detroit Lions, Thursday Night Football in Lambeau. So excited for this game. I'll be live streaming tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern, so make sure to come by the live stream and hang out. But that about does it for this one. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.